Bro, the shortcut is just a long-term disability. It's a long-term crutch. It's a long-term thing that's just gonna mess you up continuously. But if you don't take the shortcut, if you take the long road, if it's slow in the beginning, if it's hard to do it in the beginning, if you have to go through that real growing pains, bro, I'm telling you, when you get through those things, it's gonna be like, I'm not gonna say life is gonna be easy, but it's gonna be so much more efficient because you know what you're actually doing. You're not trying to finesse everything. I went through the growing pains of growing a business or just my personal brand for years. And I wasn't getting booked to speak. I wasn't getting all this income. I wasn't. But you know what was happening? Because of the people saying no and then me asking why and me learning from failures and not trying to take a shortcut to get it forced me to for real learn my craft, to for real learn my proposition, my business proposition, the problem I solve, to really understand my clients and my consumer. And so because I didn't take the shortcut, I took the long way. Now when I get on the other side of that, it's pieces of cake because I done been here. I've been through the valley. A lot of y'all ain't been in that valley, so you don't know who you are. You don't know what you have inside of you. The shortcut will, oh my goodness, it will bite you in the butt. And I meet so many speakers, and we may meet on certain, and this isn't just speaking, this is life in general. When you get to certain levels in your industry or whatever you're working towards, you will meet other people and you will realize they're here because of shortcuts. And then when it's time for business to be handled, when it's time for things to really get real, they don't got it in them. They aren't prepared. They're complaining because they've been complaining the whole way. They've been looking for shortcuts their own way. They didn't just say, I'm gonna work on who I am. A lot of people want to learn how to sell things, but they don't want to make a great product. That ain't just business I'm talking about. A lot of people want to sell. A lot of people want things to be bought, but they don't want to make the thing that's being bought actually a good thing to buy. They just want to learn how to finesse people. They want to learn how to get it quick. But does gold become gold? I think, no, diamonds don't become diamonds without tons of pressure for a long period of time. You got to go through your season of preparing to become the shiny object. Y'all want to put a bow on some BS, for lack of better terms, and sell it instead of just making the actual present something people would want. I'm spitting. Right now in my business, things are moving very, very, effortlessly. Why? Because I took the time of taking my L's. I took the time of learning from people that were doing what I wanted to do. I took the time of learning what they were doing that I didn't want to do, but the things I did want to. I took the time and took my L's. I took my time to gain the gratitude for the W's. A lot of times, it's not even about what you learn. It's about you just knowing the other side of the coin. So when you do get to the other side of the coin, you know to appreciate it. You know not to BS it. You know how rare it can be. You know all these things. It takes all this personal development. It takes you getting better. It takes you finding out what people want, not just what you want to make. You know what I mean? It's all these things that make you into a better product of whatever you're doing, whether that's looking for a job, whether that's being an entrepreneur, whether that's selling some part of service you provide to the world, whether that's you creating a product, whatever it may be, you have to go through the valley. And if you take shortcuts in the valley, you try to finagle around, maybe you'll get to that destination, but you won't be able to stay there. A lot of people want to hold up the trophy, but not a lot of people want to be a contender for years. You see what I'm trying to go here? A lot of people want to finesse their way to the finals, but you ain't going to win the final. You just finesse your way. You know what I'm saying? You over here ducking this team, so you messing with the seeding, so you play the lower level team, but you're not going to win no way. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people, and this is me using a sports analogy, they're finessing all these things in the regular season so they can make the playoffs and so they can do all these things, but they have no way of actually winning the championship because when it's time, they aren't good enough. When it's time for, you know what I'm saying, what type of work you've been putting in the dark? See, a lot of people, they like to put in work. They like to do the things that makes them seem like they're dope. You know what I mean? They'll market well. They'll post every achievement. But what are you doing behind the scenes? Could you make progress without posting anything? Some people's progress is only posting. Some people's progress is only the things you can see with light. But the people that win in the long run, the legends of the world, the people that dominate industries, the people that are really doing what they say they're doing are the ones that are working in silence. The ones that can be nowhere to be seen for a year, but there's progress being made because they understand the biggest progress is right here. Y'all weren't here with me when I was going live on Instagram to 0 viewers. You see what I'm saying? Y'all weren't here with me when I was reaching out to hundreds of schools and all of them were telling me no or not even opening my email. Y'all weren't here with me when I was going for it and didn't even know how I was even going to pursue it. But I went through the valley, and so now I am prepared. I have all my armor. I have built up my armor. So now nobody can F with me. You see what I'm saying? And if somebody does, then it's not for me. Because now I know. Before I thought, man, I got to please this person. And I started learning like, yo, it's abundance out here. I ain't got to get everybody. And that made me more valuable. It's all these things I learned from constant failure that taught me, okay. But if you're avoiding failure, if you're always trying to finesse, if you always want the shortcut, guess what? When it's time to scale, when it's time to become the best, you have no way of even coming close. Why? Because you're just making shortcuts every single time and you never became the person that attracts it to them. I be chilling, bro. People be hitting me up to speak at their organization. People be hitting me up to do these things. And I have no sense of like need. Why? Because I did the work. So I have more than enough gigs to provide for myself. More than enough opportunities. I understand there's abundance and it's hot as can be in this car. I don't know why I wore a hoodie. But like there's abundance out there. But I can see the perspective of abundance because I went through the lack of in my head and debunked it with the hard work. So if you want to get to wherever you want to go, understand, and I hope wherever you want to go isn't this like, I want just this. No, you deserve the world. So if you want that big thing, the thing you really want, not just the thing you think is logical, if you really want it, you got to go through the grind and you can't take shortcuts. Shortcuts is just shortcoming yourself. Like a shortcut is literally a shortcut, like to your, like a shortcut is going to get you ahead in the short term, but it's never going to get you to the big goal in a sustainable way. So a shortcut is going to get you to a goal, but you're never going to keep it. So a shortcut might get you in the room, but eventually you're going to have to exit the room because people are going to see that you actually aren't somebody. So like you can get in a room shortcutting stuff, but you're never going to stay in the room. But the person that's okay not being in the room and working on themselves is going to have somebody opening the door for them. That's a bar. Whatever, I may not have said that perfectly, but do you see what I just said? A shortcut will get you into the room, but you won't stay in the room. But that long-term investment in becoming the version you're meant to become and going through the failures will have someone opening the door and asking you to please stay in the room. Somebody will pay you to be in the room, not you finessing into the room. Telling you, don't take the shortcut because in the long term it's just going to shortcut yourself. But if you take the long road, if you grind, you go through the things you have to get through, I promise you will now have a lifetime of opportunities. You ain't gonna have to even do much. Shortcutting is actually requiring you to constantly be hustling for the rest of your life. But putting in that work builds you a brand, and then you gotta do nothing. They just want to hear you talk for 30 seconds and man, here's this money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The top line people aren't working hard. They're working smart. And it came from a band. People pay lots of money for small actions. Why? Because not a lot of people can do it. Why? Because everybody else took a shortcut and some people said, I'm gonna actually learn this freaking industry. I'm gonna actually bring my own perspective. I'm gonna actually go through experiences and learn from it. And so when you do what most people don't and not take shortcuts, all of a sudden the life becomes a shortcut because it's super easy now. I basically live on like basically my whole life is a shortcut now because I did the work prior. So now instead of me reaching out to 1,000 schools, the schools just come to me. Why? Because I built a brand, now my name's around. The shortcut will short yourself, will y'all see what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe. I ain't even gonna try to say no more. Y'all see what I'm saying? Don't take the shortcut, take the long road. And eventually your life will be a shortcut because you ain't gotta do much because you built the brand. See y'all on the next one. Peace.